Hello and welcome to Can We Just Get a Minute podcast. I'm Amy.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Lisa.
Lisa is a special needs mum that's had quite a journey in navigating a broken education system, battling to get the funding and support just so her daughter Summer, who is 6 with autism and a global developmental delay, just can attend school. I'm so excited to have you here today, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Lisa is one of my besties, sister from another mister.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking about it when I was getting ready for the podcast, and actually we've known each other 5 years. It feels like a lifetime. But we met when our little girls, Daisy and Summer, were at kindy.
Yeah, they were 2. And I think we met at a mutual friends brunch and we got chatting. And it was like, my girl's 2 and she goes to Little Fun. We got chatting about interior design and you knew that I had a background in that. And you were like, oh, help do my house. And I was like, let's catch up for coffee. And then that was it. Yeah.
That was the start of an amazing friendship. What was the first time that you noticed something different was going on?
Okay, well, my son, Lockie, did not talk until he was 3, and her speech was taking a long time to come in, and I thought, I think she's probably just going to be like her brother, where, he turned 3, then he was away, and it was all good. But what I started to notice with her is that the way she was using language was very different to other children. So, for example, she would watch her favourite shows, and she would repeat the lines over and over and over. She could be saying the same line all day. For example, Pepper can't wait to go to school. She'd just walk around going, Pepper can't wait to go to school. And I'd say, did you have fun at kindy today? Pepper can't wait to go to school. And I was like, this isn't feeling quite right here. Something's not quite right. And I kind of, you kind of put it to the side and think maybe she's just really excited about the things that she's watching or reading. And then I just started to notice she couldn't answer questions. Her language wasn't developing in the way that, say, Daisy's was. Because obviously we had 2 little girls the same age. And at that point, I didn't know that she had autism and global development delay. So as she was getting older, I was watching her peers and Daisy and the way that they would talk. And Summer's language was just completely different in the way that she used it. So I thought, something's going on here. And when I Googled it, it said echolalia, which is where children repeat lines from TV shows, books they read. They grab onto that chunk of language that appeals to them for whatever reason, and they just go over and over and over, and it's a key sign of autism.
See, I've always heard people speak about their child, like, with autism, not speaking for a while, but I've actually never heard of, like, they don't explain no communication, I've always thought of it as they just don't speak for a really long time, or they speak very little, but the fact that she did speak, but her language was different.
Yeah, she actually started saying words at 2, and I was relieved thinking we had to wait for Lockie to speak, and it was quite stressful, and his behaviour was not good because he was getting so frustrated because he couldn't communicate. So we had a really rough time with him, and I thought, her language isn't coming in the way that it should be, but maybe she's just going to be a bit later. I kind of said to myself, I'll wait until she's about 3 and I'm going to see what's going on with it then. She started saying words at 2, like cat, dog, and I was like, oh, this is really exciting. And then she stopped saying any of those words. So the language I thought was coming in just kind of stopped. And then she started using language in a very different way. So it wasn't conversational. It wasn't, I'm hungry, mum, I'm, cold. It was her stating things. It was her repeating a narrative or repeating a sentence or a chunk of language. And I was like, this is not something I've heard before. And I need to research what's going on with her. And then when I saw echolalia and autism, I was like, okay, I really need to keep an eye on this. And then it kind of progressed and got stronger and stronger. And her use of language wasn't shifting into more communicative type of language. So I knew something was going on. And from that point, I then started asking the teachers what they thought.
Yes.
I think a lot of them are a little bit nervous to say, we think something's going on here.
Which is strange, isn't it? Because they spend a lot of time with Summer, with the children, but they're not sort of sharing their observations.
Yeah, I think they're very careful not to diagnose. And I think they've probably dealt with parents that are very sensitive and reactive. So they do have to be careful about what they do and what they say. So I was navigating that. And I just thought, you know what? Mother's instinct is an amazing thing. And if I could say anything to any mum that's got any concerns around this, I would say trust your instincts and research yourself. I mean, Dr. Google, I don't care what people say. It is amazing and you find a lot of information. So yeah, I just kind of looked for external support in terms of the Autism Centre. I went and got her assessed and straight away Yeah, it was like, yes.
So it was you that was the driving force
Yeah.
behind getting support, getting a diagnosis, getting some answers. So tell us about that, because we would sort of assume, having not dealt with it before, that it would come from the teachers.
No, I think they're very hesitant to make a call on what's going on. So basically, reading between the lines and going with my instinct and, and also seeing her next to her peers, I then contacted the Autism Centre of Tony, and we had to pay for an assessment. So it's not a diagnosis, it's an assessment. So basically they spend 90 minutes with your child and they take them through a series of activities, questions, lots of chatting with the parent, lots of observing the child, and then basically give you feedback from there as to what they think you should do from there, whether they do think, there's something going on or whether they don't. And that's pretty quick to say. So basically that was probably, if I look back on my journey, that was the most confronting moment, an emotional moment for me, was immediately after that assessment. The educational psychologist said to me, she's autistic. I can tell you now her life's going to look very different. Her friendships aren't going to look the same. Her life's probably not going to quite look the same. And I was hit with a lot of information very quickly. And all of a sudden I had to kind of grieve the childhood I saw for her and how that looked and how that looked for me as a mother. Also the worry of her future and was she going to be okay in a world that may not accept her or isn't designed for her. So I literally went home and had extreme anxiety. Panic attack hit me, the tears, the worry, the shock, the processing. Yeah. So that was probably, when I look back on this whole journey, I think that was my hardest day, because that's when someone who knows what they're talking about said, yes, you're dealing with autism here and not mild autism.
Yeah.
And the woman that said that to me was a mother of a highly autistic boy. So she really knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And I think she just wanted to tell me, as from mum to mum, what to expect. But to be honest, it was too much at once.
Yeah.
Because she kind of was like, don't expect birthday parties. Just a lot of things she said were really overwhelming, but I know where it was coming from. It was coming from a place of get yourself ready because you're about to go on quite a ride. When the journey really began, because then I thought, right, as her mum, I've got some work to do now. I've got work to do. I need to look into a speech therapist. I need to research autism. I need to find out what early intervention means for her, what I need to do. I need to get her officially diagnosed. What does that look like? All of a sudden, I had this full-time job that had been assigned.
And through watching you from the outside of your journey, it has been a full-time job. And it's a diagnosis. Well, it's the assessment, the diagnosis. Okay, this is what's happening. Okay, well, all right, all the best. And it seems like you as the mother, it's completely on your shoulders to navigate, okay, the next step, what does a speech language therapist look like? Who do we go to?
Yeah.
And then everything since then has been on you. And where has been the support for you and emotionally navigate the diagnosis? And
well, we went on the wait list for the diagnosis, which I was desperate to get her seen by a pediatrician, a child psychologist, and a speech therapist. Because when you get them diagnosed, there's 3 professionals present, and they are the roles that they're in. So they're covering the pediatric side, the speech side, the child psychology side. And I was just, as a mum, I'm like, this cannot come soon enough, because I need to know what's happening with my child. I need to know everything that's going on with her, and I need to know what I need to do and what do I do to support her and where to from here. So after that assessment where the woman said, yes, I think she's very autistic, I then went on the wait list via my speech therapist that I had researched and found. He referred her to Child Development Services, and we waited 1.5 years.
Wow.
So for that 1.5 years, I had to navigate the autism by myself as I saw it progress. As she got older, the autism presented itself more.
Yeah.
When she's little, she just, a lot of the behaviours are that of a little child. As they get older and the development shows more in her peers, that's when the autism becomes more obvious. So for that 1.5 years, I had to navigate that myself with my husband and educate my son. And we were researching, reading, we were getting advice where we could. We were like clutching at straws for support. Who can we go to? Is there an autism person? There's not really. There's the Autism Centre, but we'd already been to see them, and I thought we've gathered what we can from that. But who's the person that tells you how to support them and where to from here?
That's it.
And what their life's going to look like moving forward.
Support for you and Dan is, where to from here and how you go about that, but also, emotionally having to process everything that's happening as well as being so proactive to research. And I must say, I've always been in such admiration of you because especially those 18 months, you were researching, you were contacting people, and you understood, like you said, Dr. Google, you understood the way that Summer inputs information and the way that she understands things in her world and in her brain. And I saw you get all the games for her, talking to her in a way that she can really understand and capture.
Yeah.
So you were doing so much.
You still feel like you're not doing enough though. You just feel like no matter what you're doing, am I on the right track? Am I doing enough? Am I, am I completely on the wrong track? So we waited 1.5 years in no man's land really, as a lot of parents do. Like so many parents have been in this position where they know something's going on, they go on the wait list and they have to kind of navigate it. And you're just flying by the seat of your pants, really. And once we got to the diagnosis, it was a 2-hour process, and there was a speech therapist there and a child psychologist there, but the pediatrician wasn't present. They were short-staffed, so we didn't get the pediatrician there. So we actually got the diagnosis without the pediatrician. So they do the assessment, and then you come back for the results. The results were, yes, she's, we know she's autistic.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I've been reading about ADHD aligned with it, global development delay, and I feel that there's more going on with her than autism and potentially global development delay from what I've read. And they said, well, we didn't look for anything else, so we can't tell you that. Whereas I thought this was a one-stop shop where this is our time to get her diagnosed to see everything that's going on with her.
Yeah.
So if there's anything else going on with her,
they would know.
ADHD, global development, it would all be. And then they said, well, the pediatrician wasn't there. And I said, well, can we please get another assessment with the pediatrician because I feel like there's more going on. So they then got us another assessment with the pediatrician because I also felt that it was wrong that the pediatrician wasn't there. So we had an assessment with the pediatrician, and within 1 hour, the pediatrician said she's got global development delay. Global development delay is when they are showing behaviours 3 years younger than themselves.
Okay.
Autism is not necessarily a delay in their age. It's a delay in certain areas of development, but not necessarily presenting at a younger age, if that makes sense.
So how old was Summer at this assessment?
She was 4.5.
Okay.
So we knew at 3 something was going on. Yeah. Went straight into the autism centre, and then we had to wait 18 months, so she was 4.5. Yeah. And then basically after the autism diagnosis, the initial one, where they said, yes, she's autistic. And after the pediatrician saying, yes, she's also got global development delay, I said, so now what? Do you think she's ever going to talk properly? Because I would say she was semi-non-verbal then. She doesn't answer. She answers a lot of questions, but not so much conversational questions, And I was told she'll be fine because she has you. And I was also given a pamphlet on the positives of autism.
Right, love
And I was given another pamphlet. I hate pamphlets to this day. And I was given a pamphlet to a music group because music groups are going to fix everything. No, they're not. You can get the music to play with at home. To me, I was like, I want answers. I want therapies. I want what her life might look like in 3 years at school. Is she going to be okay at school? Is she going to need support at school? I want answers. And basically what they said is we don't give you answers because we can't. It's day by day. As her mother, you're going to be her biggest advocate and her biggest support moving forward. She's now part of the Child Development Services, client base where she has a yearly appointment. And we have a lot of issues with her sleep. So we're currently trying to sort that out. Her brain just doesn't shut down at night time. She's very wide at night time. She was up from 2:30 this morning. So we're trying to work on that. So we're working with the pediatrician. But it's a yearly check-in. And if there's a really pressing issue, they will try and get you in. But there, as with everything else, they're under-resourced, understaffed, and you have to wait. So, So it was basically get in the car, look at each other and go, okay, great. I found my own research was more helpful and what I was finding worked for her. And this is where mother's instinct comes in. And if I could give any special needs mum at the beginning of this journey, any message, it would be nobody knows your autistic child and their needs better than the parents and the family. You're with them every day. You've seen what they need. You see how they move. You see how they communicate. And you can get these specialists that come in and you think, oh, you're here to save the day. And they come in and they don't know your child. They don't necessarily know what to tell you or what to do with your particular child in their situation. I don't know how many times I've heard, I have not met a child like Summer before. Her autism presents quite uniquely. And even when she started school, you know, Kena School's a very experienced school with special needs kids. And even they were like, we have never met a child like Summer with needs presenting the way that her needs present. And I'm like, wow, great. They all really are unique and nobody knows them better than their mum and dad, siblings, family. So go with your gut instinct, do the research you think you need to do for what's presenting out of them and how they're communicating, because there's a lot of information internationally where New Zealand is quite behind.
Tell us about the journey of Summer transitioning into school, because I know that this is this has been a big hurdle to navigate.
So she was in a very beautiful, safe space at her early childhood centre, Little Farm, where it was like Fort Knox, which she needs because she skates and climbs and she's a force. So very secure fencing. Obviously, the teacher to child ratio was much higher. And I kind of worked her up from 2 hours a day over a couple of years. And for the last probably 3 or 4 months, I had her right up from 9 until 2:45, and she loved it. It became home away from home for her, and she had the flexibility to kind of, you know, make her day what she wanted it to be. So I was terrified for her to start school. And her early intervention therapist, I had been fighting to get an application done for AWS funding. Now, AWS funding is the only type of funding for special needs kids that stays with them right up until they're 18 years old. So it's a consistent line of funding. And I knew that as she was getting closer to school age, her autism was presenting more and more. And the gap between her and her peers was widening. And in talking to her early intervention therapist, I said, can we please apply for AWS funding? Because we need to get her supported going into school, because I was terrified. I was terrified of her starting school with one teacher on 28 kids. I was like, she's not going to be okay. She's just not going to be okay. And I was told, no, there's no point, she won't get it.
But why did she say that?
She said she doesn't meet the criteria for it. She's not high needs enough, because Summer had chunks of language and she could do certain things. Even though she would put broken glass in her mouth, even though she would escape any chance she got. So school was a massive flight risk issue. And I said, can we please try? And then we received the second diagnosis of global development delay, and she said, well, we've got 2 diagnoses now, so we can use that to try. And I said, can we please get this done before she starts school next year, please, because I know this can take time and we need to get the ball rolling now. The process never began. And I found out in February, after having that discussion in November, that she'd decided not to put the application through without telling me, and said, I've spoken to my peers and my boss and we've all decided she's not going to get it, so there's no point in applying.
It just didn't want to do the paperwork.
I think they were like, there's a lot of work involved, and you know, and we know that she's not going to be accepted. And I was devastated. And all of her teachers in ECE were like, she needs AWS. Every time she's in the toilet, she's putting toilet paper in her mouth. She wasn't toilet trained at that point. She has had a lot of choking risk. She was eating chalk. She was doing a lot of things she shouldn't be doing. She needs support at school. She cannot go into school without support. It was a flat no. And I remember the phone call, and I was told the best we can do is we've worked out that we can get her 1.5 hours teacher aid support per week.
What? Oh my God, that is insane.
I thought I was hearing it wrong. I said, per day, you mean? No,
just still
per week. And I said, well, how is that going to work? How am I going to do that? How is she going to go to school with 1.5 hours a week support? Am I going to have to homeschool? Am I going to have to be her teacher aid? Are we going to have to pay for it, which we couldn't afford? Because it's not cheap. What are we going to do? Panicking. And then I arranged a meeting with the school 6 months before she started, because I wanted to let them know what was going on and I wanted them to be prepared. And that was good, because we had a meeting and I gave the teachers and the year 1 and 2 syndicate leader a heads up as to what Summer was like and what they could expect, and that she was pretty full on. So I just didn't see how it was going to go. And long story short, we had the first day of trialling her at school for a morning, which I had to attend with her. That was 2 hours long. And then after 10 minutes of getting home from that first visit, I got a phone call from the SENCO, Special Education Needs Coordinator at school, and her teacher. And they were both saying, how has she not had AWS applied.
Yeah.
How has there not been an application put through for her? And I said, I've tried. I've really tried. They would not do it. And from that point forward, and hearing that from the teachers that I had backing, she needs oars.
Yeah.
I wrote a lengthy pointed letter to the Ministry of Education and I said, we need to get this application done and we need it done yesterday. And I wrote all the reasons why. And they agreed and quickly got it done, but it was rushed and they got it to me the night before it was due.
The school?
The Ministry of Education got it to me. They had to get it to me before she switched out of the ECE system to be prioritised. So we had to get it done. So it came through to me the night before the due date, to which we couldn't really make much changes. But it wasn't a good application. It didn't talk to the real support needs for her or advocate. It highlighted what she can do and not what she can't do. And it got declined. And then we fought really hard for a second application. I went to the local MP for help. I got the school's backing, everybody's backing to say this child needs support. She cannot attend school without a teacher aid. She's a massive, massive safety risk. And we put so much work into the second application. The school put so much work into it and it got declined again.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. And then we began the fight to raise awareness because I'm not the only one going through this. And in going through this, all I kept thinking was, I'm not the only one.
No.
I'm not the only one here. There's other parents in the same position and worse positions. There's single mothers out there that have to work to keep a roof over their children's heads.
Yeah.
What are they going to do if their child is like, no, there's no support? So then what do you do?
So the school's saying, we can't support you. And then
The ministry
the ministry is saying we can't support you. Yeah.
So you're like,
So
you're left in shock thinking, how is this possible? And this is where the school stepped up and they pulled from their budget to help me with summer.
That's amazing.
For the
Yeah,
transition.
That's
so
a
happy.
great school.
Yep.
They are fantastic. They do care. And I've been it's the first time I've felt really supported.
Yeah.
And that I've felt very seen and that summer has been very understood.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I looked around and I wasn't the only one. There was another mother and father going through the same thing with their beautiful little girl who wasn't getting any funding either. And the school stepped up for her too. And they did what they could. And it meant that Summer wasn't going to get a full day at school. No. So she had to go from a full day at Little Farm, which she loved. And then I had to pull her from 9 to 2:45 right back from 9 to 11:15 every day. So that became her school day.
Wow.
All of a sudden, she's at home with mum most of the day now. And this is happening to parents all over the world, all over the country. I was in a fortunate situation where I could be at home for her.
Yes.
What if I couldn't?
Yeah.
And, then I saw in the news about the little boy that had died because he was unsupervised, autistic boy, unsupervised on a school trip. The bus was supplied by the Ministry of Education. The support people for him were not. And he escaped, and autistic children are very drawn to water. And he was found deceased in a pool. I saw that and that terrified me because I was like, how did that happen? My heart breaks for parents that go through that. It's all over the world. It's daily. It's several cases a day where autistic children, they have this laser focus that is like no other. If they want to escape, if they see a little out and they're like, I'd like to see what's on the other side of that. It's like a fixation.
Yeah.
And this is why you've got to be on them like white on rice because if they've got a desire to do something, they will try really hard to do it.
Yeah. And like you said, Summer finds it hard to actually switch her brain off to sleep. So often she doesn't sleep long at all. So you also are up all night. So your nervous system is on high alert all day and then at nighttime.
Yeah, that's why school is great.
That's why school is important.
Can get things done and it's a growing issue, we know, and that's a whole other subject, but we know that numbers are rising. In neurodiverse children, the numbers are rising. And we can debate about why, but the fact is that it is, and the problem's not going anywhere. If we don't sort this issue out, there's going to be long-term effects at the other end. And I'm not thinking just about neurodiverse kids, I'm thinking about neurotypical kids as well, because they're losing out. In the classroom too.
So your main mission is to provide one-on-one teacher support for all kids with high needs.
Yep. So I saw with battling Ministry of Education, trying to get them to see that there's a major gap here in the AWS funding process and the funding process, that families are suffering, children are suffering, teachers are suffering, other children that are neurotypical in the class are suffering. It's just got this massive ripple effect. And I'm like, okay, so we're not getting anywhere with more funding. So what can we do? One, we need to raise awareness. Two, we need some money. We need some money for these kids. So I wanted to create an event that would hopefully raise money for the school to fund teacher aid support for these kids that are losing funding, not given funding, at risk mentally and physically, and try to bridge that gap and try to help, and raise awareness around it too.
Fantastic.
And I want it to be a yearly thing because I don't see the government stepping up massively anytime soon in this area. So I think this is going to have to be a yearly initiative where we keep trying to put community input and support into the schools, into these kids, into this situation that's getting worse and worse.
And that is so important to really think about, and also for the community to be aware of. So tell us more about this event that you've created.
Well,
coming up very soon.
Yes, it's coming up in just over a week, which I can't believe. It's been my brainchild for the last probably 9 months. I was up one sleepless night with Summer thinking, what can I do? And I thought, you know what? I want to make a really fun, cool event that raises awareness, that educates people on the issue, but it's also a great night. Community can gather, we can be informed, we can listen to live music, we can listen to some inspirational guest speakers, have a nice glass of bubbles on arrival, why not? Be presented with a goodie bag, why not? Dress up, why not? You don't have to dress up, people. Come as you want, but the option's there. And I didn't want to do a pub quiz. I didn't want to do a movie night. I didn't want to do a raffle. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to make this kind of a, let's just say, for want of a better word, bit more high-end event that's not high-end in nature. It's just high-end and fun, and something the community doesn't normally have. We don't normally have evenings like this you can go to. No. It's sort of a common thing, So I thought if we could do this and we could get some amazing speakers, local MPs could come, community businesses could get involved, schools could get involved, teachers, parents, just a great community event to raise awareness and have a great night too. And also educate everybody on what's currently happening and also provide a bit of hope that, hey, maybe we can just maybe make some change and improve and put a bit of pressure, put a little nudge on the government that we're raising awareness and we're talking about this. Talking about it.
That's it. And you're stepping up and going, well, if you won't, I will.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And my daughter is my inspiration. Cheesy as it sounds. Yes, she's aged me 10 years and given the anxiety and, but she's everything. She's the most incredible little soul, and they would do anything for her. And not only her, I've got a soft spot for these kids that I've met, and I also have a massive soft spot for the kids at Kinnikina School that are being educated about this and are stepping up and taking care of these kids and looking out for them and becoming their little besties. And these other kids have been beautiful with them too,
That's great to hear.
Yeah. So that's kind of thought process behind it. And I've managed to get some great speakers and great live entertainment and there's going to be a huge thank you to all the people that have helped me in creating this event, because I'm blown away and so appreciative at, the businesses that have stepped up and the people that have supported and continuing to support. Team Pashby has really stepped up to help. Tom Thumb Cafe, U World, Fix It Fitzies donating some building labour. We've had Vicky Chandler, we've had Michelle Mason, we've had so many. I just want to name everybody. Sorry if I haven't named you, but I'm just blown away, and you guys for having me on this to voice it too. And at the end of the day, the kids at school are going to benefit from it.
Absolutely. So how can the people listening support this incredible event of yours?
So if you Google An Evening for Every Mind, the event should come up, the Humanitix link. If you want to go ahead and purchase a ticket via Humanitix, you can also read all about it, send the link to your friends, get a group together.
We will have the link attached to the podcast as well. So you guys should be able to just click on that in the description.
So come along, bring your friends. It's going to be a really fun night. It's already gathering momentum and interest to grow arms and legs and become even bigger for next year. So that's something I'm really excited about. I've been in touch with some incredible people that have asked to talk about sponsorship next year, that have asked to help me grow the fundraising next year to more than one event. I want to make this initiative a cause, a brand. I want to make this bigger. And apparently there's no other initiative like this happening in the country that I'm aware of, that anyone else is currently aware of. So let's get it out there and just let's help these kids. And it could grow from Kinnikina School to all the schools in the area. It could grow nationally. So why not? Why not try and, push this thing?
Absolutely.
Get our kids educated the best they can be. All of our kids.
Yep. You're a powerhouse of a woman, and if anyone can do it, it is you. And I loved when you were selling the tickets on the flyer, which is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. It says every one ticket sold is 3 to 4 hours of one-to-one teacher aid support for a child.
Yes. I knew that in creating an event like this at $100 a ticket was ambitious, but at the same time, once you purchase that ticket, you've just paid for 3 hours support.
Yeah. You're
in the classroom.
directly
You've directly
helping
influenced
children.
all the children in the class, not just one. You've directly helped and supported.
Yeah.
And you're getting some cool stuff when you turn up, getting entertainment, goodie bag, getting bubbles and canapes and things. So,
And glammed up.
What a great reason to get glammed up.
Yeah,
So-
we'll certainly be there to support you
Yes.
and to support your vision, which absolutely is going to shine. So when is this event happening?
So 3rd of September, which is not this coming Thursday, but next,
Mhm.
7 p.m. at the Paraparaumu Beach Golf Club, which is a stunning venue. And I also have Wham Bam events coming in to do all the decorating and get it looking beautiful. And it's going to be 7 p.m. till 10:30.
Perfect.
There's going to be live music. There's going to be silent auction. And we have some very fun items for auction. We have a luxury overnight package with over $1,000. We have the Dream Woman's Pamper Pack, which is worth over $750. We have high-end wine, all-made hamper from New World. We have Mazda Martial Arts donating 2 times full uniform kits and 2 free terms if you want to get your kids involved.
That's awesome.
And a whole bunch of other things that are going to be really, really cool.
It's been incredible to have you here,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
I love being around you anyway, but it's been so amazing to hear what you've been through with your journey with Summer, but also your vision and what you are wanting to do for not only Summer, but for other children. It's just, you're such an inspiration. If there was one piece of advice that you could give a mum who is just beginning this journey, what would that be?
Trust your instincts and do your research. I'll stop there. I mean, go with your gut.
Yeah.
If you feel something's going on with your child, it is. And if you're not getting the answers you want from the people you expected it from, start researching. Instagram is an amazing thing. Start doing your research, start talking to other mums that have been through it, and go with your gut. You know what? Also, don't be afraid. It's a tough journey, but it's also a beautiful one that will surprise you in ways that you never knew.
At the end of our podcasts, we go over what made us need a minute this week. My 5-year-old is banned from the Nintendo Switches for 2 weeks because I couldn't find his or his sister's Switch. And I was like, where is it? It better not be in your room. Where he proceeded to tell me that Revan, my 2.5-year-old who can't even reach his own door handle, got up in the middle of the night, came downstairs, got the Switches and put them in Kylo's room and then went back to his own room. We're currently underway his ADHD diagnosis as well. Yeah, so he's neurodivergent for sure.
Neurosparkly.
Neurospicy.
Okay, I thought of my minute. So it was my husband's birthday recently and I splashed out because he likes his skin stuff. And I splashed out on some really expensive Clinique men's stuff for him because I thought he deserved it. I'm going to spoil him a bit this birthday. Thought I'll get him some really nice skin stuff. And my little treasure, Summer, was out of sight for 2 minutes while I was cooking, very quietly upstairs in the bathroom. She had managed to get all of his expensive skin through the tubes out of the shower and proceeded to squeeze all of it into the bathroom sink and use the toilet brush to stir it up. And then she had squirted the shower gel on top of it and put water and also flooded the bathroom.
Wow.
I needed a minute, but I couldn't take a minute because I had to jump into action.
Yeah.
And then Dad was not very happy.
Goodbye, Clinique. Oh,
Goodbye.
Well, I actually can't comment because my kiddies have been with their dad for the last 6 days. So I can't comment.
Not yet, but we'll see the next one.
Yeah, when I'm not with my children, when my children aren't with me, I actually just crash.
And can I say, I love the podcast you guys are doing. I've listened to the last couple of episodes and I think it's just really nice to have a place where mums can come and chat and be real and swear if they want to.
Yeah, be uncensored.
Sometimes we need to vent and I just love what you guys are doing. So thank you for the giggles.
You're so welcome. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to dress up with you next Thursday.
Hope to see all of you listeners at the event.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
See you later.
Bye.